Good evening, people of YouTube. Welcome back to another video on the inabberlive channel. I do not know why I'm saying this like a news reporter, but yeah, hello. We're live right now on twitch.tv. If you want to join us, you're more than welcome to. inabberlive, you can join these wonderful people here by simply coming over to twitch.tv/inabber, click and follow, turning the notifications on, and yeah, you can join these little streams live and join in with the chat where we basically just bully me for about an hour straight and talk about things in a carefree manner. Because on this channel, what I want to do is speak about things that I would speak on the main, but don't think it's like main channel worthy, and I feel like we could just talk about those topics in a bit of a live carefree manner. And today we are doing that once again with Jimbo Jammy Charles, because chat, recently James Charles has become popular again. As of recently, I've kind of noticed that on James's TikTok he is getting like 14.5 million views, 13.4 million views, 5 million views, 13 million views, and I'm thinking, chat, why is this like self-admitted nonce still popular on the internet? There are even like people who are famous. The winner of RuPaul's Drag Race is still collaborating with this person, and you've got to say to yourself, chat, why? What is actually going on here? And how? Just how has this person still got 24 million subscribers? My girlfriend, I brought it up to her. I was like, James Charles is still getting good views. And she was like, well, how many views is he getting? And I was like, well, he's still getting decent views, you know? Like, look at this. I mean, ignore that, but 800k, 1.9 million, 800k, 2.8 million, 800k, 900k, 1.6 million, 1.1 million. And it's like, that's impressive. And she did say to me, well, it's not what he was getting during his peak, is it? And I was like, yeah, that's true, but it is impressive that he's still getting these views based on the fact that the entire internet knows that this bloke is a nonce. Like, he just is, and I'm not even going to sugarcoat it, chat. He just is. How do people forget he's a nonce? See, I don't think that's the case. I think what we've got here is we have a person who is now seemingly getting collaborations with people with young, impressionable audiences. So take this person, Crystal Versace, I think, probably has a big audience, you know, young, impressionable audience. And I think that when you have an impressionable audience and you see somebody hanging out with somebody problematic, the thing that happens is you then, well, as a young person who is impressionable, you will think, oh, well, this person I like is hanging out with this person that loads of people don't like. Maybe I should trust the opinion of the person I like and start to like the bad person, because that's just how kids work, chat. It sounds mental, but the thing is kids, right? Children, they are basically fucking stupid. Like, children don't have brain cells, you know. They are barely sentient. I'd argue that you're not fully sentient until you get to around 21 years old, and even then it's a push, because I'm 25 and I'm still like thinking, Fraser, are you fully there yet, you know? And with kids, I think it's the exact same thing. So with influencers like this, I do have to ask, have you not got any shame? Is there any shame in this brain cell? Because you're sat next to a bloke that admitted to messaging minors. So yeah, I mean, that was my first issue. I mean, it's got 42,000 dislikes, but the comments in general are just like very positive. And you know, I'm not like urging you guys to go over there and just shit on this person. Don't do that. Like, obviously don't do that, because you know, YouTube TOS and all, but it's like, James is such an amazing person, loving and kind to everyone. Yeah, loving and kind to everyone other than minors, you know? It's a little bit of a shock that this bloke is still doing so well. That's what the chat's saying. Of course, he has no shame. I think he believes it's okay no matter what happens. Crystal is known to be problematic. Yeah, but the thing is, there's a difference between being problematic and a fucking nonce. Like, do you know what I mean? That was the first part. But recently, James has apparently been getting into drama again, responding things, addressing the hate. And I'm like, how is this man getting the balls to address hate again? Because it's like, in my opinion, if I did what James did, I mean, firstly, I'd be in a prison cell, but secondly, I wouldn't get the balls or the will or the ego to start to again call out people that say nasty things about me. Because if you've done what James has done, you should kind of expect that. I mean, he's getting millions of views, but that's not enough. He's got to actually respond to people who are, I guess, being nasty to him. And when it's like a case of an influencer responding to people being nasty, I can understand it, you know? But with this guy, it's like, well, mate, you got out free. You got a get out of jail free card, and you're still not happy with that. He wants to become relevant again with responding to drama. Well, that is just the title of T-Spill's video, and we do love T-Spill. What we're going to do, sit down and watch this T-Spill video, video because, you know, what else have we got to do on this fine Wednesday afternoon?
James Charles has been getting a bit bold lately, and he's been clapping back to people online who may not be his biggest fan. He also collabed with Tana's bestie, Amari.
How is this man still getting collaborations? I just don't get it. Is there something in the fucking water supply in LA where it just makes people just have a weird lack of shame? I mean, I know what it is. It's obviously the thing we like to call influencer syndrome, of where basically influencers don't have like a single aspect of any shame in their bodies, and they will take any collaboration they can get in order to gaining some form of fucking numbers. It's embarrassing.
And revealed his very
money says walks a lot in the chat. I agree.
For his line. It's a mess, so let's get into it. Let's start off with this really surprising friendship between James and Amari. A few months ago, James and Amari were first seen together at James's 23rd birthday party, and it left people kind of confused. Amari is Tana's best friend, and Tana isn't exactly the biggest fan of James. You guys know Tana has been very vocal about her dislike of James, especially after what happened last year. I think a lot of people thought since—
Thing is with Tana Mojo though, is like she'll be like, oh, I don't like this person, but then a year later she'll be hanging out with them. I wouldn't be surprised in like 2 years time to see Tana Mojo hanging out with James Charles, or even in 6 months time. I mean, maybe this clip will age really well and we'll come back to it, but I'm pretty sure she was saying or liking tweets about Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star, and then randomly a year later, when it's like not as popular to hate on those two, she was hanging out with them. I don't know if Tana Mojo is necessarily the most reliable when it comes to that sort of thing.
Amari would probably also not be his biggest fan. Obviously, Amari sees the things that Tana brings up. He knows what happened last year, and he knows that Tana has talked about James not being the nicest to her during their friendship. So personally, I would never think to put James and Amari together as—
I mean, I wouldn't think to put James and anybody in a room together. Especially if you're like below the age of 18. It's a bad idea. But also, I just think that if you're an influencer just considering, like, the thing is, I reckon James nowadays is very much open to collaborate with anybody. In fact, I think if I like tweeted James Charles being like, hello mate, you want to collaborate? He'd probably be like, yeah, let's do this shit. Because I don't think many people want to collaborate with this guy, mainly because, you know, there was this like little thing that happened like last year, maybe the year before, of where the dude got caught out diddling kids. I don't know if you saw it, but yeah, that happened. And weirdly enough, people don't want to speak to him anymore.
Well, they are. Amari seems to be all over James's TikTok lately, and people in the comments have been bringing up Tana, saying things like, Tana is not gonna like this one.
I mean, the law enforcement aren't gonna like this one.
Screaming in anger. Come on, Amari. We were rooting for you.
I feel like comments need to be a bit more angry when it comes to James Charles. Like, don't be, oh guys, man, we were rooting for you. No, we were rooting for you, but you're hanging out with the nonce. I mean, I'm still gonna follow you. It's like, guys, you do realize that this man is like actually enabling a predator. Like, you do realize that's what's going on here. Like, it's not just like, oh, this guy hung out with Jake Paul. It's like, no, like, this guy is hanging out with somebody that has multiple videos admitting to messaging minors. It's like, it's not your average problematic bloke. It's like an actual criminal, chat. It's not just, what, this person hung out with, I was gonna say Jeffree Star, but he's probably a criminal as well. I mean, I don't know, he hung out with, I'm trying to think of somebody who is problematic nowadays. Gabby Hanna. I've hung out with Gabby Hanna. It's not as bad. It isn't, trust me.
And Tana recently said on Jeff's podcast that she doesn't expect her friends to not be friends with people just because she doesn't like them. But then she went on BFF.
Yeah, but when they're hanging out with nonces, it's a little bit different. Like, is it not a little bit different? Everyone's problematic, but also not a criminal. Pretty much.
And then you have the people who leave comments like this. James did some trend going around, and someone left a comment which said he thought he did something, and it got over 13,000 likes. James did something that he hasn't really done lately. He responded back in a video.
And I think that's actually kind of wild. Like, I don't know. Is it not a bit weird that a guy got away with an actual crime, came back, got millions of views, but he's still not happy? He's still got to actually respond to people. It's not even that bad of a comment. It's just he thought he did something. I thought it was going to be like, oh, check out this ugly fucking bastard. You know, I thought it was going to be something actually hateful. That's not me saying James is... You know, I'm saying that's an example of a hate comment, you know. But it's just he thought he did something. And then we get this minute-long response.
I get so much entertainment from watching people try so hard to get the top comment on my videos by saying dumb this. Because what does this even mean? He thought he did something? Babe, what do you, what do you think that I think I did? Like, did you,
get away with a serious crime? Something maybe like that?
do you envision me like hitting post on this video and sitting there being like, 100 million likes, here we go.
He seems really upset by this. Like, let's just fucking look at that again. What is going on here?
Like, do you envision me like hitting post on this video and sitting there being like,
My guy, he's literally in his fucking Onision. He's so heated by this. Bro, you gotta relax. Relax. Look at this shit.
I did. Like, do you envision me like hitting post on this video and sitting there being like,
He's like, it's not even that bad of a comment. The guy is fuming. Oh my, he's actually becoming Onision. Look at that face. Look at that fucking face. He's actually becoming Onision. And they've basically committed the same crimes, to be fair.
100 million likes, here we go. This is the video, you guys. This is it. I just did the trend.
He also responded to a few videos going around that are showing his Morphe palette popping up in stores like TJ Maxx.
I've been tagged in this video hundreds of times as if my palette being sold in TJ Maxx is supposed to be super embarrassing. Maybe I'm weird, but like, I don't see it that way. In fact, I honestly think it's like really cool, low-key. This palette is 4 years
I kind of get what he's saying, but at the same time, it's only in there because it's not selling. Like, I get he's probably going to be like, oh, well, it's cool that I'm in a big store anyway, isn't it? And it's like, yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, I'm not in TK Maxx chat. I'm not. But at the same time, it's like you've gone from Morphe, I think, to TK Maxx. Like, there is clearly a decline there, and like, whether you want to admit it or not, it is a little bit entertaining that you've gone from fucking Morphe or whatever it's called to TK Maxx. I think the fact that you're like replying to it in a video message probably does show you care. Like, I love it when influencers are like, guys, I don't care about any of this, but they're replying in like minute-long fucking TikTok videos. But am I going to release my makeup palette? When I kind of need to exploit my fan base, I probably will start to do that.
Most makeup products launch and are popular for like 4 minutes. So the fact that 4 years later people are still talking about this palette is a literal miracle. Like, millions of people have gotten their hands on this palette, which is the biggest blessing that I could ever ask for. Nothing can be popular forever, so of course years.
I actually heard that the James Charles makeup isn't that bad, but I don't know, man. I don't even know why I'm speaking about makeup. I don't know anything about makeup, but I heard it's actually not that bad, to be fair. Kind of like Jeffree Star's, which is a shame because they're both criminals.
Years later, it's going to be sold to stores like this because the brand's got to get rid of the stock.
It's also because the brand don't want to work with you anymore. Like, I'm pretty sure Morphe cut their contract with you after you got caught. What was that? What did you get caught for, James? You did this thing of where you like messaged minors. Yeah, sorry, I forgot. It's easy to forget sometimes. That's what happened there.
How business works. Now, whether you love me or hate me, you can get a great formula for a super affordable price. So who cares? Like, I'm done. My contract is up. I bought my house with this palette. I bought my parents a house with this palette. My makeup line I've developed with the money that I made.
He bought his basement with this palette. You know what fucking goes on in there. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. That's an allegation with no backed proof.
From this palette, I'm forever grateful for what this palette did, but I've moved on, and so should everybody else.
I mean, Morphe also moved on. I don't know why he's acting like the contract just simply ended. I mean, we all know why the contract ended, James. You don't need to pretend that it just randomly ran out and they just thought, oh, well, we don't want to work with you anymore. I mean, they don't want to work with you anymore, but it's not because the contract simply ran out. It is insane to me. Like, I think the one thing we can take from this is that this bloke is clearly building an ego again, and it's kind of what happens every time with James. He'll get in some controversy, he'll get exposed, he'll get cancelled, and then he'll gradually start to rebuild, gain an ego, and then it'll continue. They'll get cancelled again. And the process always repeats itself. But in this case, it's like he was cancelled for being like an actual nonce. So it's quite impressive that the process is still managing to like continue, given what he was exposed for, you know. It is a little bit strange. I honestly, James, I don't know if it's a good look at responding to not even hateful comments. It's just a joke. It's just a joke. But I'm very much surprised at the fact that this man has gained so much of an ego once again. And usually, like, I'm never going to care if an influencer responds to comments and stuff. I think influencers responding to hate comments is fun and funny, but I think it's a little bit different when your name is James Charles. He raged over a tiny comment. Yeah, I mean, I think, can we get like a little replay on this? Where is it?
Do you envision me like hitting post on this video and sitting there being like,
I don't know. It's just fucking weird to see this man clearly lose his marbles. But again, I mean, he is actually killing it in like a social media standpoint. The bloke is on 10 million views. I don't even know what like half of these posts are. I mean, let's take a look at some of the James Charles TikToks. this have 7 million views? TikTok is truly a fucking awful platform. How does half this shit... What is this?
Sisters. Hi, sisters. Hi, sister.
Is this what you say to like 16-year-old boys, James? Is this how you approach them? Is this live action, like, is this what happens?
Hi, sister.
That's definitely James when he sees a 15-year-old boy. That's James when they say that they're actually 17.
Hola, hermanas.
That's James when they're a 16-year-old who speaks another language.
Howdy, sisters.
That's James when he meets a American from Texas who was also 16.
Hi, sisters.
And that's James when he meets a 16-year-old fan. You know, it's an interesting process.
Refreshing. I'm thirsty.
What is wrong with TikTok? Am I like 25 and a boomer? Or is this just like, is this just shit? What? I'm not even trying to be a hater right now. This is how James approaches a 16-year-old again. James, you need to stop giving us these tutorials. None of us are going to follow them, thankfully. Sorry, I just kind of need to poison you all. Let's try and find one more, which we can... Okay, let's judge... No, that's his cooking. That's his... He's got a celebrity chef cooking for him. Jesus Christ. It's the fact that this bloke has a better life than all of us combined, despite everything that he did. James's ass is on my tongue. Every time we do a video about James, his bum just appears. It's just painful every single time. Right.
My celebrity friends and asking them to pick my makeup routine. Hailey Bieber, do you have a product recommendation for me? Send. Hi, Dave. I think the peptide
Oh my
glazing
god, these people actually responded?
fluid and the peptide lip treatment would be perfect.
This can't be real.
She said,
Does Noah
"Hey, Queen,
Schnapp
this is what I
respond to
love."
James
$280! Okay, Slay, thanks, Noah. Stay safe from that.
Oh god, why? Like, did these people not know? Oh god, Jesus. Oh, that's sad. Who else?
And he said, I'll try. What does that mean, exactly? Noah Schnapp, Will Byers dies in Stranger Things Season 4 Part 2.
Baby, I didn't answer you because I got so drunk.
30 minutes after I sent this DM, my doorbell rang. Literally walk upstairs, there's a beautiful woman sitting at my front door with this bag right here. This is definitely
Kylie Jenner responded? What is with Hollywood? What's going on in the water supply in that fucking place? Why do we let these people get away with everything? It's just sad. It's every day I've got to discover. Oh, another celebrity is still friends with James Charles. Oh, Jesus. Why? Oh, what's wrong with America? I mean, it's probably the same in Britain, but Jesus. I'm going to conclude this clip by saying the whole point of this was meant to just be James Charles is getting popular again. He's becoming loved again. I mean, celebrities are clearly loving the bloke again. And it's kind of worrying. He's now responding to hate comments again. And it's just like, are we just going to go on a full circle? Because I promise you, if he gets major levels of popularity again, it will just go down the cycle of he'll get re-exposed for something and he'll get cancelled again, and then the cycle just happens again. This is what happens with James Charles. I don't know how to actually stop this. Yeah, I'm gonna end this video by saying please subscribe, please like this video, and please comment beans in the comment section. Thanks for watching. God, I'm gonna have nightmares of James Charles as BBL.